I can't talk today. Everybody unsubscribe. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are sewing up a Patterns for Pirates pattern. It was only a matter of time. Obviously, Patterns for Pirates is a huge pattern company, and what goes with that is a lot of discussion. There have been so many discussions in sewing groups, particularly about intended fit versus your personal preference for fit, and I thought it would be fun to sew up a Patterns for Pirates pair of joggers because that just seems to be a hot button pattern for discussions in sewing groups. I've seen posts that the fit is too big, but we are going to solve that mystery today. I've sewn quite a few Patterns for Pirates patterns in the past. I've sewn the Sweetheart, the leggings, the favorite tee, and of course the bathing suits. And I always seem to have pretty good luck with them. So if you haven't sewn a P4P pattern before, or if you have but haven't sewn the joggers, stick around for a review. Dun dun dun. Okay, so I printed out the jogger pattern. Side note, my printer is horrible about printing photos. I can link my printer in the description with the warning not to buy it. So the first thing in the pattern is a list to read before starting your project. There are tips about fabric, printing, seam allowance, and there's a blog post linked for beginners. Then there's a supply list and a printing guide. They do have line drawings. When we get to the size chart, all of my measurements for hip, thighs, and calves all fit into an extra large, so that's the size I'll be making today. There are two different pocket options. There's a shorts option, and I think there's different cuffs. Yeah, you can do a cuff, a regular cuff option, an elastic hem, or you can do a rolled up hem. So for my muslin today, I'm going to do a cuffed jogger. They have different waistband options. There's elastic waistband and a yoga waistband. There's also a link to adjust for length. My inseam is about the finished measurement, so I'm just going to go with the pattern today without doing any sort of length adjustments. Okay, so there's fabric requirements. For the pants themselves, you need at least 20% stretch, and for the cuffs and yoga band, you need 50% stretch. There's a cut chart in the instructions. This pattern is a trimless pattern. Those are my favorite to put together because it's so much faster. Also, I wanted to mention, as I usually do in these types of reviews, there are no paper pieces for the rectangular pieces in the pattern. However, the cut chart does print out with the pieces themselves. So I just cut out the cut chart with the pieces, and then I glued it to one of the leg pieces of the pattern so I don't have to keep referencing the actual instructions. Okay, I think that's it for instructions before we start construction. So I'm going to get my pieces cut out and start sewing. Here are my pieces cut out. I forgot to mention earlier that there are two different rises in this pattern. There's a low rise and a mid rise, and I did cut the low rise for this one because I typically go for low rise pants. And I cut at the bottom. There's different options for the cuffs, so I cut the cuff option, which makes your pieces a little shorter. I cut two cuffs out, a yoga waistband, and I'm not going to do pockets this time, just for the muslin. I honestly don't know when we stop sewing muslins. I keep seeing posts in groups that are like cry faces, like I ruined a bunch of my good fabric. There's definitely a need for muslins or a practice garment, even in PDF patterns. Like maybe with PDF patterns, since a lot of them are knit and there's a lot of stretch and a lot of testing, customers think that they don't have to make muslins anymore. But literally every pattern that you make, you should definitely do a test fit, and then you won't ruin your fabric. This fabric with the floral is a French terry from, of course, Sincerely Rylee, and I will link her shop in the description. So I'm going to get sewing, and no matter what happens today, I'm gonna have some new pajama pants. Okay, so now I have the legs sewed together. This is usually the point where I see most people post and are like, these are way too big. I feel like we need to stop doing that. They look big right now compared to my body, but I've made roomy pants before, and I understand that before you put the waistband on, they are going to look relatively big. So I'm going to keep on going and add the cuffs and the waistband, and then I will show you the fit. So I ended up folding the cuffs the wrong way in construction, which led to a redo and the use of different fabric. Pro status. I really love the fit of these pants. The waistband is really nice and it feels pretty secure, but I think I will cut it an inch or two shorter for the next pair. Just because these pants are such a low-rise pants, no one needs to see my booty coming out of these when I bend over, so I think I will cut it a little bit shorter just to make them more secure. I think it's really roomy through the hips and it's nice and comfortable. I'm thinking that this is exactly how a jogger should fit. It's not tight around the hips, it's not tight around the calves, but the cuffs are fitted at the bottom. And I think I will keep the inseam the same length. For a first try, these came out really good, and I cannot wait to make some more. So overall, I like the fit of these. I think they fit as intended. Jogger style is a looser fit. They're definitely not a legging style. But the good news is, if you are a legging fan, Patterns for Pirates has a free legging pattern on their site. And if you like the look of the joggers, but the fit of leggings, they even made a logger pattern, which was brilliant. So there's different styles for you to choose from based on your preference of how fitted or not fitted you want your pants to be. I've made a lot of different patterns and this one is gonna be a favorite for me. So now I'm gonna go sew my final version. I'm going to add some pockets this time, but I think I'm gonna stick to the cuffs and the yoga band because they're so comfortable and that's what we're doing around here. So stick around and I'll let you know how that version goes. Okay, here's my final version. I did it in like a thick sweater knit. I did add slat pockets because they're just easier, I feel like, than the other stitched pockets that are in the pattern. I did add a tie because there are several options on how to add a tie to it or a drawstring, but I'm going to show you what I did because I'm really lazy. I just stitched this tie on here to make it look like there's a drawstring just to give that illusion. But if you pull it, it's just a tack on the drawstring because I feel like the yoga band is actually really good about holding these pants up. And I also kept the same cuffs on this pair too. So now I'm gonna go put on my final version and pop a few photos into the end of the video of the models so you can see what they look like on. Thank you all for watching and sewing along with me today. I hope you're loving these pattern reviews, my rants, and just maybe a different insight to some of your favorite patterns. Before I go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us on all of our social media, which is linked in the description. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far. I'm so excited that we are getting close to 2,000 subscribers. We might get to do a giveaway soon. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye.